training walk number 1 and video number 1 with the dog right here, walking behind. So it is Saturday, 6th January, I think, and we're just doing a walk up Glen Coinachan, I think it's called, up to the Bialcan Scan. Although the way it's been raining recently, I think the Burn, small river at the top, will be pretty full, and I don't think we'll bother crossing it anyway. So I've got in the backpack pretty much everything I'll be taking on the trail, the Appalachian Trail, when I leave and start that at the end of April for a couple of weeks, section hiking. An ambition of mine for many years, don't know how long really. I would have read Bill Bryson's book, The Walk in the Woods. I think that's the first I ever heard of the Appalachian Trail, and that must be about 20 years ago. So maybe not quite from then, but from some point between then and now, many years ago, I've had the ambition to hike some of the Appalachian Trail. In fact, at first I think it probably wasn't much of an ambition because I just didn't think it was ever going to be possible. And that's probably really when I heard more, when I believed it was more, about a through hiking experience, and I wasn't so aware that people section hiked it. And I think when I became more aware that that was actually a very common thing for people to do, that I started to think that that might be possible, might be something I could do. Travelling from Scotland, of course, is not the easiest thing to do. Certainly wouldn't be the cheapest thing to do if you've got to do it over multiple years. But anyway, we'll worry about that later. I turned 50 this year. I know that's hard to believe, but I do. And so this is, or rather that is the excuse I've used with my wife and family for getting a couple of weeks away to hike the trail. She would like to do the hiking, my wife, but she doesn't really fancy the camping, and she really doesn't fancy the bears. Otherwise I think she would come with me, but well, she'd come with me if she could get in a hotel every night. Not to say she's soft, but she doesn't like sleeping in a tent with me because I snore. So yeah, here's where we are at the moment. It's not a bad day, really, all things considered. Good go. Could be a lot worse. It's not. Well, we've had a bit of rain, as you can see. I've got the waterproof jacket on, but it's just very fine rain. New jacket, very lightweight, rab for the trail. So good opportunity to give that a bit of a test as well. And basically, in everything that I will take on the trail, I'm actually wearing trousers today. I think I'll probably tend to hike in shorts when I'm over there, but I will take these trousers with me. I've got the backpack, got my tent, got my sleeping gear. I think there is a bag of food in there actually, and I think there might be some spare clothing in there, but probably not really what I'll take on the trail. But in terms of simulating the packing size and the weight is probably close enough. I think my stove's in there, my cooking pot, and I've got some water on me, so there's, I don't know what, there might be a couple of bits and pieces that I'll have with me on the trail that I'm not carrying today, but it wouldn't amount to a great deal. A passport, I suppose, and credit card, but they're not going to weigh very much or take up any space. So yeah, I think what I'm carrying is a fair-ish representation of what I'll be taking on the trail. It all packs into my 50-litre rucksack. It's not a very big bag, so I'm very happy about that. And there's still a bit of room to spare, so that's good. Don't know, I'm pretty sure I won't be carrying a bare box. I think I'll just take a hang bag and some cord if I do occasionally camp out with a tenting spot. Most for explanation of that, for those that aren't aware, the Appalachian Trail, all of the Appalachian Trail runs through country where black bears reside in their habitat, although I gather some areas are more common than others. Because most people hiking the trail start at the southern terminus, Springer Mountain in Georgia. That sees the heaviest footfall of hikers. That's the rain coming on a bit. And as a result, the shelters, there's a shelter which is like a three-sided hut. What in Scotland the closest approximation would be a bothy, although our bothies are, generally speaking, proper old cottages, stone-built cottages in the main. Sometimes timber, but mainly stone. And proper houses. Over there, they're just sort of three-sided shelters with an open front, which I've always thought a bit bizarre, really, because I can't imagine if the weather's coming from the wrong direction, basically doesn't offer you any shelter at all. But because of the footfall, as I was saying, in Georgia, I understand that I think all the shelter areas have bear boxes. So because there are bears obviously constantly looking for food, hikers being quite a soft target for food, I suppose. And if you leave your food hanging around or on the floor, you are at risk of attracting bears. And so they have these sort of strong boxes in Georgia. But if you're not staying at a shelter site, you are supposed to hang your food bag from a tree, which would be interesting. Or the alternative is you carry what they call a bear canister, which is a very, very tough plastic barrel. They come in different sizes and they're supposed to be bear proof, and I think from what I've read they pretty much are, but they are a certain size and volume, and of course, unlike a stuff sack with food in it, they are that size and volume whether they're full or empty. So it can be a bit of an issue, and I've a feeling there might be a bit of an issue in this relatively small rucksack, which I would really like to take. So we might be going with the bear hang, which will be interesting. We'll see how we get on with that. Just come to a wee gate. It's a good place to have a pause and speak again later.